Hey, this is Nicole Kelly, host of Disarming Disability. Thanks for listening to the following show on Public House Media.
Hello everybody, it's No Filter Friday on Public House Media, and I'm sitting out here, not that you can see it, but that's a beach over there, because I am on the road, of course, with the Troy, obviously, like, why wouldn't I be? I have tried everything under the sun to get this stupid Facebook Live to work on my laptop and to have, like, lighting and, like, all the normal things that we do, but you know what? It didn't happen, so we're doing it the good old-fashioned way with, good old microphone, earbuds, and just out in the ambient light of the beach, which is it's a considerable amount, crazily enough. Like, if I turn this way, you can see all this crazy light behind me. But we can use it to do what we normally do. So, bit of a short show this week. David Bobke, is that you that came in? Can you tell me if it sounds okay? Because I know it sounds crazy down there. Like, I'll show you how it's crazy down there. All of these bikes come by and they, like, ruin my whole vibe. So, David, if you could let me know in the comments if it sounds okay. I hope it does. And I'm trying not to have a little shadow on my face because that would be cool. Oh, it's so rowdy. I can't stand it. But anyway, last week, if you missed it, you shouldn't miss it. You should go back and listen to the audio-only, podcast-only interview that I did with TikTok star / police officer Kevin Udi. Sounds all right. Okay, I can live with that if you can live with it. It's more of, sound is your jam, David, not mine. But anyway, so if you didn't go back and listen to last week's episode, which is just a podcast, but it's a very important episode because I interviewed a police officer on how you go about reporting a sex crime if you find yourself to be victim of said sex crime, or if you know somebody who is, how to support them through that reporting process, because it's really hard. It's really, really hard to report any sort of sex crime situation, whether it happened to you that day, that hour, or years before then. It's hard, and a lot of people don't know how to do it, and they don't know where they're going to get asked. They don't know what the process is going to be like to seek justice. So Officer Kevin Udi and I, who you can find on TikTok, his TikTok is amazing. Go watch it. Hello, thanks for coming in. Ooh, did this turn off? How fantastic. I think the air conditioner shut off. Anyway, go watch it. Hello, Brittany. But yeah, it's a really important episode to watch. And I told you that we were going to be doing... Hello, Erin. We're going to be doing more, now that, we're well past the 100 episode mark, that we're going to be doing more how-to episodes in dealing with all of this, because we need solutions and resolutions in this part of the hashtag #MeToo era, basically. It's one thing to just talk about it or be about it, but it's another thing to actually, move forward in our lives with the ability to speak out against things and accuse people formally and go to the media or go to law enforcement or file a lawsuit or whatever the case may be. So, go back and listen to that episode if you haven't listened to it, and if you think something might have happened to somebody that maybe slide them that episode and it will help them out. Possibly, because that's what it's for. People ask me why I do this show all the time, and it's the same answer over and over. It's basically a PSA. I didn't come up with all of this. I didn't go around the world collecting all of this knowledge without, just to let it die on the vine with me. Like, that would be silly. It's to be shared, because sharing is caring. Another reason why you should share the show. And all the other shows. Anyway, it's been a really, really big week for Me Too and for the whole pedogate, pedowood situation. Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested, and they put out an article saying that she's, basically saying that she's completely innocent in all of this, and she's not really owning up to what she's done. And at first I was like, this twat. I mean, really? The evidence is overwhelming. However, now that I think about it, her pleading not guilty is kind of a great thing, because that means it's going to push everything to trial. And they're going to have to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and throw every bit of pasta at the wall at her to see what sticks, which is kind of a cool thing. If she were to just take a plea deal and be like, okay, I'll fess up to this, 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 and this, but I'm not going to give you any information on that, then she could feasibly weasel out of this, and nobody wants weaseling. We're not here for any more Epstein, Maxwell, Wexler weaseling. We've had enough. I believe the 2004 case in Florida was enough. We've had enough weaseling. We're good on that. So my initial thoughts was really, this hoe isn't going to own up to what she did, but that it kind of works out great for everybody, because it's going to force them. Really, bike people? Why does everybody have to be so loud, right when I'm doing this? Why? Why? I don't understand. Anyway, it's going to force open the whole thing, which is amazing, and she's going to have to name names, and they're going to have to really bring every piece of dirt out. Really? How are there unlimited bikes down here? Everybody has to make so much noise all the time. Anyway, so her pleading not guilty is going to be a good thing. It's a twatty thing, but it's going to be a good thing, because now we're going to have to break open all of this, and you know what? It's the time to do it. No more weaseling. No more weaseling. Speaking of which, on an international scale, #MeToo's been doing some really interesting things, like she was planning on fleeing, so no bail for her. Exactly. Where in the world are you? I'm in South Carolina. Don't drop your phone. Don't I know it? It's a long way down. It is a long, long way down with nothing but my headphones to hold it together. Why is everybody so... It sounds like 2004 down here. Honestly, it does. It's like Lehman Shock never happened. Anyway, yes, she was planning on never getting arrested. She was planning on, interpoling her way out of this, but no such luck, which is really, really exciting. And then I talked to a guest that I'm having on tomorrow for a pre-recorded episode, which will air next week and the week after probably, because it's going to be a long episode. And we talked about this rumor that was swirling around about how a picture of JonBenet Ramsey was found with Ghislaine Maxwell somewhere in the background. That is incorrect. But good looking out, basically, However, with that being said, there was a photographer that was working with JonBenet Ramsey back in the day that was a convicted felon for being in possession of child porn. So, surprise, surprise, right? But anyway, next week's show is going to be pre-recorded, and because it's going to be so juicy and so delicious, it's probably going to be 2 weeks of episodes. So it'll be... Everybody's just trying to get up in my business. So it'll be a 2-part episode that will air next week and then the week after. Anyway, international #MeToo stuff. A while ago, we did an episode on one of the mayors of a town in South Korea, Busan, which is the second largest city in South Korea outside of Seoul. But that mayor has died, and he's still getting accused, and they're still going forward with that. I don't want to say trial, because the man's dead. He can't be on trial, but they're still going on with that lawsuit despite him being dead, which is great news for, say, the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, who may or may not be dead and have cases still going on. And then on top of it, there was another thing that happened in Egypt that was, we'll do like a special episode on it if you want to talk about it. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's like a student accusation in Egypt, and it is completely brought down this whole #Me Too firestorm down in that region of like Northern Africa, like the whole MENA region, which is also super, super important. So if you want to do a special episode on that case in Egypt, then we will do that. But you have to tell me in the comments or slide my DMs, something of that nature. And so many people have been sending me the TEDx talk of the lady basically saying that pedophilia is a sexual orientation and we should feel bad for these people, and it's just like being gay, and that's not the case at all, because there isn't an excuse in the world for being a child predator, like literally not one. But so many of you have sent me that, which is great. David Bobke, you want to hear about it? Okay. Well, if other people want to hear about it too, we'll do a special episode on the Egyptian situation. But the point is that around the world, not just domestically, even if you're dead, your accusations will still keep rolling. Those lawsuits will still keep going. So, say Miss Maxwell, ends up getting Epsteined, that's fine. We can still keep rocking. We're going to keep rocking regardless. Dead, alive, halvesies, maybe, Tupac'd it. Who knows? We're still going to keep going. But that's the important part. But what was I going to say? What else? But basically, my closing note here is that I cannot with the noise around here. Like, I really can't. My closing note is you're going to hear some really, what people are going to say, outlandish things or crazy things. And we talk about this all the time. And I feel like if you watch the show, then, like, you already don't feel that way about these kinds of accusations and the stuff that's coming out in the media. But I'm sure you're running across people who are like, Tom Hanks being a pedophile? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. I love me some Forrest Gump, and of course I do too. But I will remind you that if you can accept what happened to, say, like Judy Garland back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s at the hands of studio heads, at the hands of her handlers, and you can watch those sorts of things on her, or you can accept what we're pretty sure happened to Marilyn Monroe at the hands of studio heads and the Kennedys and things like that back in those times, it didn't stop. It didn't stop. They just got more supply and more demand of people to do this too, and a bigger audience to incentivize it. So if you can think about or talk about the ways that some people were treated in the entertainment industry back some years ago, nothing's changed. And it's just, the supply and demand have just increased. So if you hear people running around saying like, this is crazy, there's no organized pedophilia in Hollywood, that's ridiculous. All right, well, go look at, the Judy Garlands of the world. And if you can believe that, if you can believe forced abortions, forced marriages, forced, all of these things, being silenced for, back then, if you were an actor and you were found out to be gay, there would be all sorts of cover-up, blacklisting, all that stuff. It's not any different now. It's just different circumstances. If you're not towing the Hollywood line, they're going to have consequences for you. So if you can accept what happened to those people back then, surely you can accept what is happening to people now and in between. Or don't, and get out of their way and let them have have their day in court or have their accusations or tell their story in whatever way that they want to, basically. So anyway, I will see you all next week for another episode of No Filter Friday with a very super juicy guest. I know we're going to have 2 episodes out of it. I know we are. So I will see you all next week on another episode of No Filter Friday. Bye.